everybody, this is Andrew Hicks, your Technology Coordinator for the Ubaldini Group. Now in the last video we left off with choosing the type of transaction from the checklist type here, and we explained a little bit about what these are. These are simply placeholders, and now we're going to start the transaction. That way we can get our documents, that way we can get them signed and put into these placeholders here. So to start the transaction, what we will do is click on the Start Transaction button here on the right hand side. And we can choose which third-party e-signature platform we have that is connected to Command, where we can start that transaction. So if we click on DocuSign right here, that is going to create a room inside of DocuSign. As you can see, it comes right up here, and yours typically won't have to do this. Mine does, just because I need to sign into a different user. I'll go ahead and sign in here, and that's going to bring us directly into our DocuSign room. Now, a room is the exact same thing as a loop. That's where all of our documents are going to live. So once we create that room, the first thing we want to do is we want to edit the details. That way it automatically populates the information for our documents. So to do that, if we click on Details here, towards the upper left as you can see, and you can see this is where all of our information is. So this is where we're going to be editing the information. That way it fills into the documents automatically. So you can see on the right hand side we have our seller. And if we scroll down further, we've got seller 2. If we go down even further, we've got listing agent 1, listing agent 2 if we have one. And if we keep on moving, we've got the buyer 1. And we have buyer 2, as well as the buyer agent 1. And buyer agent 2 if we have one. So you can see on the right hand side here we have all of the people that are involved in this transaction. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off by filling out that information. So to do that, if we click on Edit up here at the top, that allows us to edit these fields inside of here. So we'll go ahead and choose the name seller 1. That, as you recall from the previous one, is Bob Loblaw. We can put in his home phone number, cell phone number if we need to, business phone, email. So for our purposes here, I'm going to go ahead and put my own one on here. That way I'm able to show you what a transaction looks like once everything is signed. And we'll want to put in his address, which is at 142 Carlisle Drive. And we've got Palm Harbor. And we'll want to choose that country, the state, as well as the postal code. So you can see I've got the postal code on there now. I've got all the information here for Bob. Now what I like to do, something that makes it a little bit neater, is if we hit this little arrow next to where it says Seller 1, that's going to collapse that field. That way we can just jump down to Seller 2. Makes it a little bit easier to navigate, makes it look a little bit nicer. So we're going to go ahead and choose Kathy Loblaw. Go ahead and choose her home phone number. And again, we can put in that information as we filled out previously. So for this one, I will use my other one. And we'll put in that address here. Choose that country, the state, which is Florida, and the postal code here. And again, I'm going to go ahead and just collapse that one here. You can see we've got the listing agent 1. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and we'll just use Krista for this one. And we can put in the phone number here and the email, as you can see a little bit further down. And we can put in the address. We can do the city and state. And the postal code here. There we go. And again, we will go ahead and we will collapse that listing agent 1. So we're going to say we don't have another listing agent. We can collapse that one as well, since we're going to leave that blank, since we only have one listing agent for this particular transaction. Now we can add the buyers in here now. So we can just say that I will be the buyer for this one. And we can put in the phone numbers here. We'll go and just choose that one here. We can put in the address if need be. So we'll go ahead and collapse that one. We can put in a second buyer if we have one. And we can put in the buyer agent here. So we'll go ahead and we'll just choose Ryan again here for that one. And we will put the email here. And we can put the company that he works for here. The address again. And we'll put in that city. We've got that country, the state, and the postal code. So put that on there. And if we had a second buyer's agent, we could put that on there. So again, like all the other ones, I'm going to go ahead and collapse that field here. Makes it a little bit easier to see, and I kind of use it as a checklist. Once I finish filling it out, I'll collapse it. That way I know that I've completed it. So the next part is to fill out the room information here. So what we will do is we will go ahead and get started with the local currency. You can choose United States dollar, and we're going to put that MLS ID on here. Now, we're not going to worry about these. You can fill this information in. It is not required. We're just going to fill in the information that we need to for this, just so we can get that transaction started and have those details fill out as best as they can. So for the address is the next part here. You can see it's under location. And we'll just fill out this information correctly here, because this is what's going to show up inside of our forms that we pull here. You can choose the year built. Go and choose that. And if there's any special circumstances, we can choose those as well. For this transaction, we're not going to choose any special circumstances. If you go down further, you can see the listing details, so we'll choose the listing date here. We'll say that it's going to be for tomorrow, which is why we are filling out this information for the listing paperwork, because it is required within 72 hours of starting that listing that you submit that paperwork to compliance. So we're going to go ahead and just drop that in here. So the expiration date, we'll say that it's going to be the 31st of July. The listing amount, as we put inside of our opportunity, $750,000. Now again, in the future, this will automatically populate from command. It does not currently, but it will, and potentially by the time you see this video, it may already do that. So we'll want to put that information in there. And if we get our offer, we can fill in that information here as well. Again, that will populate into our forms. Same thing with the rest of this information here, which we are not going to go quite this far for this trading, but you would scroll through and edit that information as you do receive it. So we'll go ahead and we will save our information here by hitting the Save button down here in the bottom right-hand corner, since we worked so hard on filling all that out. Once we save it, those details are saved into our DocuSign room. So we'll go ahead and stop the video there. And in the next video, we're going to pick up where to get the documents and how to get them. And we'll pick it up from there. So make sure you check out that next video.